I'm Ty the dog guy. That behind me right there is a freezing cold lake in the middle of February. This right here is a quagga mussel that's an invasive species. And this guy right here is Captain. He's been trained to find these guys out in the lake, and we're going to see here in a second how good he is at his job and if he can find me and the mussel in the lake before I get hypothermia. I'm Ty the dog guy, and I travel the world telling the stories of dogs who work for a living, doing jobs that they are uniquely qualified to do. This is Blue Collar Dogs. I'm about to tell you the story of Captain and Nemo. Now, this is the story of two working dogs who are part of a much larger team of Mussel Dogs. Now, you might be looking at them right now thinking, there's nothing muscular about them at all. Perhaps they look like any mutt that you could rescue from a shelter. In fact, both of them were shelter mutts. But the work that they're doing now in wildlife conservation makes them some of the most rare dogs in the world, doing a job that spells the difference between life and death for countless species. Come along with me as I tell their story and the story of their handlers and how their work is making so many lives better. All right, so we're here today with Debbie Deshawn. She is the owner of Mussel Dogs. And so, first of all, tell us, where are we today?
We are at the beautiful Modesto Reservoir in California.
Tell me a little bit about your background. How long have you been in dogs, dog training, stuff like that?
Well, I started out doing dog training back in the early 90s and actually did some dog training with the great Carl Lewis Miller. Worked on Beethoven with him. So I actually started out in movies and television when it came to dogs.
I've been in the dog training industry for 20 some odd years. I've never heard of Mussel Dogs. And you have this company where you guys train dogs to find mussels. Tell me a little bit about that. Why do you do this? What's your background?
Probably first we should explain that we're talking about the animal mussel and not the human mussels, right? And we got to get people over that lump first.
Okay. So yeah, little mussels. We'll show people later for sure.
Yes. So basically, back in about 2008, these mussels came from the Great Lakes and landed at Lake Mead in Nevada. It was the first time that they had come west. It took until 2008 for them to make it west. And so once I found out about them, being that I already had a background doing detection dogs for drugs, I decided, well, we can go ahead and make a company and find the mussels.
What's the deal? Why do we even need to be finding mussels?
So the mussels are highly invasive and they're very small. They're very hard to see. And so when we have the dogs to find the mussels, then what we're trying to do is we're trying to prevent them from coming on a boat that's been in an infested lake and bringing them to a lake that's not infested.
So this lake's not infested. If it were infested, what would it look like? What would be some of the problems that we'd be having?
So basically what happens is they breed like crazy. So one female can actually lay about a million eggs.
Really?
And being that we're California and it's warm, they can have multiple breeding cycles within a year. So although a very small percentage live, if 1% live, we've still got 10,000. So it's exponential once they get established, how they just take over. When they take over, what happens is they're filter feeders. So they're filter feeding all of the plankton and things that other creatures that would be in this ecosystem would be getting. And so now we are displacing them because we're eating all of their food. Then when we displace those, the animals that would normally eat those now don't have that food source. So it changes everything.
So, I mean, we're in California. Does this affect other places, or is this just a California thing?
Oh, no. This is nationwide, for sure.
Really? Okay.
We just, we're staving them off. We don't want them.
Is there more than one type of mussel?
It's the zebra mussels and the quagga mussels.
Zebra and quagga. And these are freshwater. So these, because most people, when they hear mussels, they think about seafood buffet, how delicious they are.
Yeah.
These aren't those, right?
No, they're very small. Maybe a little, when they're full grown, maybe the size of, a large sunflower seed. But when they're what's called the veligers in the larval stage, they're actually microscopic.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so they go from that to obviously very small when they become settlers, and then they grow and grow. So that's why, I mean, at first you can have them on a boat and not even really be able to see them, but be able to feel them like sandpaper.
Okay.
We have the slogan, clean, drain, and dry, right? Clean your boat, drain all the water out, make sure it's dry. Because what people don't understand is the microscopic ones that they can't even see could just be in the water. You start your boat, it lets a bunch of water out, or you let your ballast tank out into the water and you've just spread them.
When you're training a dog to find an odor, whether it be cocaine or explosives or truffles, you've got to isolate that odor so that we can actually teach the dog to find just that odor. I found it really interesting that it took Debbie 2 years just to be able to possess the mussels so that she could train for that particular odor. At this point, my interest was piqued. I really wanted to see how she figured out how to teach these dogs to actually smell the mussels so that they could find them on the boats and along the shorelines. I convinced her to let me be a part of her company for a day. All right, so we've had a wardrobe change here. As you can tell, I've got some dapper new duds here because I am now an employee of Mussel Dogs. And Debbie's gonna show me how to actually train these guys. Now, I've never trained a mussel dog, obviously, because there's, we can count on like 1 or 2 hands the amount of people who have. So I've never done this. I'm gonna learn how we're doing this today. So now we've got some boxes behind us, but I want you to take me from square one. We've got this dog. And as we already know, the dog is ball crazy, wants that ball more than anything. What is our first step to start training him to find mussels with his nose?
So basically, we're teaching them a game of hide and seek.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball, we're going to put the ball in the box, and when the dog gets to the box that has the ball in it, he's going to want his ball, and we're going to tell him good because he found his ball. We'll tell him to sit or to focus. We use both.
Okay.
Depending on the dog. And then once the dog understands the game, that okay, when I put my nose in this box and I tell you my ball's here, I get my ball, then we actually put mussels in with the ball in the box.
So this guy's obviously fully trained, but if he was brand new,
Right.
we would put a ball in there.
Right.
We'd like show him, hey, I got a ball, and we put it in here.
Right.
So, and then he comes and he doesn't get the ball until you have him like focus or sit or
Well,
something like that?
You work up to everything.
Sure, okay.
Right. So the first time he goes over and he puts his nose in there and there's the ball, then you pop the ball out to him and he gets the ball.
So he comes over and he knows nothing other than the ball popped out, boom, I got it. And he's
Right.
happy.
Right.
So we keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And soon he realizes if I go up and I sit and look at that box, boom, I'm going to get paid,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
And so, because the ball is his paycheck, right?
Exactly.
Essentially.
Yep.
So he goes to the box, there is no ball. Do you ever
Right.
have a dog be like, all right, I'm going to sit anyways?
Oh yeah. They're smarter than we are. Just admit it
Hey,
now.
speak for yourself.
No, admit it now, Ty.
Okay.
So they are smarter than us, and they're gonna try. They're gonna try to pull it on you. They're gonna try to figure out exactly what you want of them.
Gotcha. So you'll have a box with no ball. The dog runs up. There's no ball. He sits and he's like, aha, I gamed the system because I sat even though I didn't smell the ball, right?
You ignore him.
And so he gets nothing.
Right.
And so maybe he's like, well, let me go try the next box. And that's the one where there is the ball.
Right.
And so he starts to realize, oh, I have to smell that ball in there.
Exactly.
And so is that the point where you start adding the mussel odor?
As soon as they understand the game, or even before, I throw the mussel odor in as well. They still get the ball, but then after I've done that a few times, I just take the ball out, put the mussel odor in, and then as soon as they get there, put their nose in, I'm going to tell them to sit. Give them their ball.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
So
then we make it more difficult and we put odors out, like dog food or other things out, so they understand that they're only getting their paycheck for the odor that we want, not for other things that he might think
so
are
in
interesting.
obedience training, we would call that proofing. Do you call that? You call it proofing too?
We do.
Yeah. So you're gonna put something he wants. You're gonna put hot dogs. You're gonna start adding distractions, I'm sure, of other
Fish,
dogs.
You know, yeah, other things that might be at the lake, fish, or something else as well.
So you're gonna show us some stuff, and then me as your new employee, looking all good over here in my neon orange. You're gonna teach me how to do some stuff. But tell me first, what are you going to be doing here? What are you gonna be showing us?
I'll just show you the dog finding an odor in a box.
So we have odor in a box, and you're gonna take him around. What's the word that you tell him to search?
I tell him to souk.
Souk? So that's German, right? I think it's German for search.
I think it is.
Gotcha. And so you're going to bring him up to a box and tell him souk, and we're going to see what he does, right?
Yep.
Okay, let me get out of the way and let's see what he does.
Sit. Now I'm telling him to sit first because that's okay, it's time to work.
Okay. So that's kind of like your cue.
Yep.
Okay.
And he finds it and he sits. And then get the ball.
Look how polite he is. He's like, please
Now
may I
when
have
we're
my
training
paycheck?
a dog, so the dogs like to tug. So when we're training the dog, we're gonna make this game, this fun part right here over the odor. Okay? Because we want him, you hear him, listen to him. You hear that? He's getting the odor, he's getting the ball. It all becomes, the fun is at the odor.
So in his mind, everything is kind of like coalescing
Right?
or
If he wants to
convalescing or
have
whatever
fun,
the word is.
Yeah, if he wants to have fun, it needs to be at the odor.
So fun, so he's experiencing the odor while all this fun stuff is happening.
Right.
Good boy.
So I'm not going to tug with him away from the odor, only at the odor, because this is where the fun is.
And by the way, this is fun for the dog. A lot of people look at this
boy.
and they're like, the dog looks frustrated, but he's having a great time with this, huh? All right, can I move the box and let's see if he finds it again?
Sure.
And then after that, I want to see if he's going to let me do it. I'll be captain. All right. I love how polite he is about it. He's like, give me that paycheck.
He's the old pro. Good boy. Good boy.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, he loves this, doesn't he?
But see, if I let go, he has to come back to the odor. That's where the tug is.
Okay.
Let go, come back to the odor. So when we're training a dog, this is a really important part.
So when you're training him, do you play tug outside of training, or the only time you're playing tug is when he's got that odor next to his nose?
Yeah, this is gonna be their fun game.
Okay.
So we're only doing it when they win.
Okay.
It's their paycheck.
All right, I want to do this. Can we get Captain out and let me play around with it?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to earn my paycheck. Better be more than a ball, by the way.
All right. So we're gonna let you work Captain.
Captain, you ready to work, my friend?
He probably doesn't give a hoot about you, so if you show him the ball, then you're the keeper of the toy.
Yeah, I see he's noticing the boxes.
Yep, show
But
him.
we're coworkers, buddy.
Show him you're the keeper of the
Captain.
toy.
What's this? What's this?
All right, now you'll pay attention.
Now
to
we're
you.
buddies?
All right, so
All
tell
right,
him
so
to sit. You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
have
him
him-
sit.
And then what am I going to
You're
do?
gonna tell him to sit.
Okay. Captain, sit. Good boy. And then as I tell him to souk, what am I going to do
You're
with
gonna
my
hang
hands?
on for dear life.
Okay. Okay. Captain, sit. Good boy. Souk. Good boy. Atta buddy. Atta buddy.
Hang on.
And so bring him back over here. And we play tug around. Oh, what's that?
Wait,
Oh,
tug
what's
right
that?
at the
Oh, what's that?
right at the odor. Right at the odor. There you go. Get to the
Oh.
odor.
Ha. Oh. And so I could
And
I
we
could
don't
get him.
do any of that prey with them.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
Nope.
because he doesn't need it, huh?
Nope.
So I can
And
send
then,
him right back
I
to
have
search?
problems with my dogs jumping back at the ball, and they're gonna
Oh.
bite their handler.
Gotcha. So don't do that.
No prey.
So can I have him search right again?
Yeah, you
Since
want
I
me
got
to
the
move?
ball
Let me
back?
move the boxes so you don't know where it is.
Captain. Sit. Oh, buddy. You ready? Captain. Sit. Souk. Good boy. Is that where it is, big guy? That's a good boy. That's a good boy. You want to tug? You want to tug, huh? Good boy. So just kind of like this?
You don't even have to pet him. Just yeah.
So he doesn't even need the pet.
No.
As long as he's getting his reward, he's good.
That's his paycheck. That's all. Look at him. That's all he cares about. Look at that face. That's
Yeah, look at me.
no offense. No offense. You're just the keeper of the toy.
You don't love me? You love this? And so when I'm playing tug with him, I just need to kind of be a post, right?
Yeah.
And just sit
You
there.
just need to be a post.
And so I don't need to get a lot of.
Good boy. Good. You must
Good. Yeah.
We have to teach you how to throw a ball
Good.
to the dog.
I haven't done this before. I hope my paycheck isn't affected. Hey, big guy. Good.
Yep. Be a post. There you go.
So I just kind of hang out here and let
There,
him.
good boy.
Good. Yes.
He's bumping that odor. That's
Good.
the
Yes.
fun
Yes.
place.
Good.
That's the fun place.
Good.
Good. Good
Good
boy.
buddy.
Let go.
Okay.
And then he should come back. See? Because that's the fun place. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So he came. So everything is geared
Good
back to where. Good boy. Getting back to this exact same spot, right?
Yep. Everything's geared to the odor having. Now the odor actually has more value than the ball.
Interesting.
Good boy.
I've seen a lot of drug dog training, but the way you're doing this is really cool. This is a little bit different than what I've seen in the past.
Good boy.
Hey, good boy. Now what should I do?
Nothing. Walk away. He can have his ball.
You win? You win?
Walk away. There
Good
you go.
job,
Now
buddy.
you can try to get the ball away from him, but don't. Just put your hand on the ball.
Right now?
Yeah.
So grab the ball?
Just put no on the ball, the actual ball.
Right here?
Yep. And just tell him out.
Out.
There you go.
Good.
And
Good
put it in your
boy.
pocket.
Good boy.
It's not his anymore. But see how he wanted to go right back to the odor?
Yeah. He was like, let me.
He's not trying to get to the ball, he's trying to get to the odor. Because odor's paycheck.
This is awesome. I want to see what this is like in the real world. Do we have, can we go search like a live boat?
Yeah, we can.
So we can see somebody coming in the park, give them a search?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's
Yeah,
go do it.
We can do it.
So these dogs are obviously unique. Their intense desire to play with the ball, their intense desire to play tug with the ball is something that allows them to be trained for this very unique job. So do they come from highly pedigreed, well-bred, fancy pants dogs? The short answer is no. These guys are misfits, some of whom Debbie literally saved at the last second before they were put to sleep. Listen to Debbie tell their story.
So Captain, it's a long story, wound up in the shelter on the coast. They had adopted him out twice already. He was never kept for more than a week because he's a freak and he's, they're crazy, right?
So when you say freak, like he's wild, he's energetic, he's hyper, that type of thing?
Yeah, and I mean, a little bit neurotic, I mean,
I can relate.
he doesn't like to be alone. He doesn't like to be alone, so I assume he probably ate somebody's couch or tore up their door or who knows what, when they left. And so he had already been returned twice, and the rules at the shelter was if you returned a third time, you're euthanized.
Oh, no.
And so Green Dog Rescue out of Windsor, California, they were reached out to please take this dog so that he wouldn't be euthanized. So Green Dog got the dog, and when they contacted me about him, I have a relationship, one of the rescues I have a relationship with, they contacted me, and he was a little older than I usually take. He was 5, but it was like, he's not going to find a home.
Yeah.
And he needs a job. And so, I mean, he was perfect. And he absolutely loves it. Now he's 9. He's semi-retired. He is in the house now. And he's fairly trusted. He is a little bit of a counter surfer.
Gotcha.
But we're working on that. He's only been been the house dog for about 2 weeks now. The other dog's Nemo.
Nemo.
And Nemo's actually the first dog that I ever trained, from finding him to training him to completion. Found him on Facebook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was some teachers who had this dog that, again, neurotic, barked his head off in the backyard, and the neighbors were just complaining. And they didn't know what to do. And, they're like, we've got this dog, he's ball crazy, he won't stop barking. And I went and looked at him, and he just trained up beautifully.
But how does neurotic and hyper and all of this stuff translate to a dog that can actually find mussels?
So the best way to think about it is we look for an absolutely ball crazy dog.
Ball crazy.
Right.
So
Absolutely
what does ball crazy mean?
Or toy crazy. This is the dog where you throw the ball and he'll go get it until he can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll still go get it.
Yeah.
Or this is a dog where you put the ball high in a tree and he'll just sit there and stare at it or try to climb the tree. He
Where
is
you throw it
so
into the grass
overly...
and he'll keep looking for
Right.
10, 20 minutes,
and
that type
that's
of thing.
yeah, and that's actually one of the first things we do when we're testing for a dog is see how long they'll go search for it. And so that's what we're looking for. It's just that absolute, we say ball crazy, toy crazy, what have you.
Sure.
We look for that absolute ball crazy dog. What we've done is we have taken this crazy energy that this dog has and we've turned it into a game, and we've turned it into something that they absolutely love to go. So we're taking a lot of that energy out because we're expending that energy playing this game.
Here's what I'm picturing. I don't know if this has ever happened, but like I'm picturing you've got this boater coming in and he's like, I'm gonna have a great day on the lake. We're gonna smoke a couple joints. We're gonna have a great day. And he pulls up and he sees a dog checking boats and he's gonna be like, oh no, this dog's gonna catch me. He's gonna catch me with some marijuana or whatever. Although it's legal in California now. But anyways,
Yeah.
Do you ever have people be like, have no idea what the dog is for and suddenly start getting a little bit weird about it?
We've had it multiple times.
Yeah.
We've had it often where they see us and they just turn around and leave and don't even come. We have had it where we've had them turn around and come back with a different person driving. So maybe the person who was driving is a little intoxicated. And then we had the funniest story where, and this was before it was legal, but there was medical cards. The guy pulls up, we're like, it's a mussel detection dog, we're just looking for invasive mussels, and he's like, I have my marijuana card, and he's shaking, and the screener's like, hey dude, he's not looking for that, and the guy absolutely insisted that he look at his card.
He's like, I swear it's okay.
And he was even with his mom, which was even funnier. So,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I know you do a lot of boat stuff. I mean, you check all the boats that come in, for example. Do you ever do stuff like on the edge of the lake, or is it just restricted to just smelling boats?
We also do what's called shoreline. So every once in a while, we'll take the dogs out to the shoreline and check the shoreline to make sure that, mussels haven't gotten into the lake, possibly when we weren't there checking boats. So we're not there 24/7 at any of our lakes right now. And so there are boats launching at times when we're not there. So just as another precaution, we'll do the shoreline to make sure that there's no established mussels within the lake.
Okay, so we're smelling boats, we're smelling shorelines. Anything else that we're smelling?
The only other thing sometimes is the lakes will actually put what are called plates in the lake and maybe hang them off the dock. And so they'll put them in there
like
for
a dinner plate.
Well, it could be round or it could be square. It's usually metal.
Just something metal. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. And so they'll throw those in the lake, and maybe every month or every couple of months they'll pull them up to see if there's any mussels on them.
Oh, and you'll like maybe smell the plates and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll have the dog run by the plates.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Having met these ball crazy dogs and having seen what they're capable of doing on the training field, I wanted to see what they're like in the real world. I wanted to see them in action, searching a boat for these mussels. All right, Debbie.
All right.
Let's see these guys in action. I want to see them work. Let's see what you do.
All right. Let's get out.
So it's pretty quick, right? Like
it's extremely fast.
So how long does it take to do one boat? Like a minute?
Oh, less than a minute, probably.
Gotcha. So does it look like this boat's clean?
Yeah, we would call this one done.
All right, cool. Let's see Captain do it now.
Good job, and we would call this boat clear.
So this boat is clean. I want to see what it's like when they actually find something though. So, but I want to make this like a real test. I don't want it to be like, you know where it's going to be or something like that. So what I'm going to do is send you away.
All right.
I'm going to take a towel that has the odor on it. I'm going to hide it on the boat.
All right.
And when you come back, we're going to see if Captain can find it.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome. All right, so I've got Debbie. She is way over there. I don't want her to see where I'm going to put this. But I'm going to put this on the boat. We're going to let it sit for a minute or two. Kind of the odor will start to pool around there. And then we're going to bring Captain back and see if he can find it. And we want to show you what it actually looks like when the dog finds something. So we're going to put it right here. I'm going to stuff it in here. And so that has the odor of the mussels on it. We're going to see if Captain can get it.
We're going to go ahead and search this boat and see if there's any mussels on it. Okay. Gets his toy, that's his paycheck. I know, buddy. I know you're ready.
All right, let's see what Nemo can do.
All right, he's ready. Hey, sit. You can see he's obviously caught it, and he's not using his eyes, he's using his nose.
He's trying to find the source. This is so cool.
Nice,
What a good
buddy!
boy.
Woohoo!
That was awesome. Something different happened, and as a dog nerd, me being a dog nerd, I gotta point it out for you. So here he comes. He's coming down the boat. He's right underneath it, and he goes past it. So pause. So he went past it. Now, if you remember, the wind was coming from the starboard side. That's the right side of the boat. Don't worry, I just learned that myself. From the starboard side to the left side. So as he was directly underneath the odor, the wind was pushing it towards the port side or the left side of the boat where he is right now. The odor, picture it being visible, right? That somebody gave it a green tint. It would be billowing away from this towel that we've hidden. And it's gonna go obviously with the wind current. So the wind was pushing it one way, so he totally missed it, but he didn't because the odor just wasn't present directly underneath it. So we hit pause, there he is. Now go ahead and hit play. Now he caught it. You see that? So pause again. So he came around, he missed it the first time, but that big kind of push of odor was coming over to the port side of the boat. And once he got there, he hit it. He smelled it. He knew it was there. And now you can see him work his way back. And so here he is coming back. He's sniffing the motor. He knows it's around here somewhere. Go ahead and hit play. He knows it's somewhere. He knows it's somewhere. It's around the motor. He knows it. He's trying to search for it. He still can't find it, and he gets around the motor, and he knows it's elevated, so he's looking for it. His mind's really working right now. He goes past it again because there's a lot of wind right now, and boom. You see that? Now he's onto it. Now he smells exactly where it is. He sits. He gets his paycheck. What a good boy he is. At this point, there was just one thing left. I'd spent the day learning about mussels, learning about the dogs who find them, and it was great. But nothing beats an up-close and personal look. All right, so we decided, against better judgment, that maybe the best way to see how these dogs work in action is to actually turn me into the mussel. So, I'm gonna hop right on a boat. We're gonna go out in the water. And, I'm gonna fall off the boat. I'm gonna glom onto the dock, and we're gonna send her dog down the dock to find me. So let's see how this goes. It is now. All right. I have a feeling I'm gonna regret getting into this water in February. What it is. Should have done this in July. Okay, I'm starting to get a little stressed about getting in this water. It looks so cold. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, that's freezing. That's freezing. Oh yeah. Oh. got our odor up there.
That's a good
Boy!
boy. That's what we're looking for.
You didn't leave me hanging. Not only are these dogs adorable, but the blue collar jobs that they're doing to keep these lakes, waterways, and reservoirs clean of invasive species is amazing. It's incredible. Thanks for watching Blue Collar Dogs. All right, Debbie, I want you to show me what these mussels are like. And my first thought here is just pure disappointment because I was promised seafood buffet. And these things aren't even as big as my fingernail. This is not what I was expecting out of a mussel. So tell me, what do we have here?
So this is actually some quagga mussels. These have all come out of Lake Mead. And basically it's just showing you how they just cover everything. They're sharp shells, and they're going to cover rocks, and they're going to cover the pipes. And they just, as they multiply, they have to hang on somewhere, and they're going to hang on to any hard surface that they can find.
So these things start off microscopic, right?
Yes.
Now, do we know, like, are there any studies that show, like, how small they can be before the dogs can actually smell them?
So we actually did a research project a few years ago, proving that the dogs can find the veligers.
And a veliger is what?
A veliger is one microscopic larva.
Veliger.
It's called a veliger.
Okay,
Correct. Not a villager, a veliger.
That's what I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
All right, so a veliger's microscopic larva, and the dog was able to find it.
Yeah, so we were able to test the dogs and prove that they could find it, and as a matter of fact, we got them down to finding 9.
So the smallest amount they could detect was 9. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 9 veligers in some like a pint of water.
So you've actually
of lake water.
You've actually participated in scientific studies.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're not
we've got
talking
a
like you went out in your
published
backyard
study.
and played around.
No. It's a published study proving that the dogs can find the veligers. And then what's so cool is actually we just got a grant with Texas Tech, and we are going to be bringing dogs there in September and doing another study, and we're actually going to figure out how low the threshold of the dog can go with the veligers, down to 1, or even we're going to be comparing it with eDNA to see if there's DNA in the water as well as veligers, and kind of almost pitting the dogs against eDNA, environmental DNA.
So what eDNA would be is the veliger's not there, there's no living creature there, but there's traces of its DNA within the water. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Whoa. And
Yeah.
so this is a study that you're going to be participating in.
Yeah, we're really excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so this is, what is this? This is a pot, right?
Yes, it's a pot.
This
that-
is so-
that wound up in a lake.
This is so gnarly. So look at, this is why what you guys are doing is so important, because I'm picturing, like, all right, obviously this is a pot, but like maybe this is some sort of pipe that is pumping water. So this is what you're talking about, how it'll clog up a pipe like that, right?
Yeah, it within probably 6. This might be a better example for you.
What is this, guy?
So that's maybe 6 months of growth. You
No
know,
way.
that you put that in, and 6 months later it would be that infested.
So this is just a piece of plastic that was inside the water,
Right.
and they turn this into their condominium.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Look at this guy. And so yeah, this is a pipe. I can imagine how quickly they would take over like a little 2-inch pipe like this. This is crazy.
Yeah, they're going to restrict the flow of water. It's going to cost the waterway or the water agency millions of dollars, because they're going to have to go in every few months and clean the pipes out,
Yeah.
so that it's not restricting the flow of water.
Wow. Yeah, this is incredible. Oh, if only someone could figure out how to eat them, we could get them on buffets everywhere, solve our problems, get people in there farming these guys, huh? Ugh, but yeah, this is gross. Okay. So as I'm looking at this just seems awesome that you've been able to kind of keep these things out of the waterways up here. And so, are there any like unexpected things that have happened in this career? I mean, I know you've been doing it now for about a decade. Has anything unexpected happened that you weren't
Well,
expecting?
first off, I never expected to write a research project. Right, that was not on my bucket list, and it happened. Another really cool thing that happened was I actually won a national award through the Reduced Risk of Aquatic Invasive Species Coalition, and it was for innovation, and I actually got to go to Congress and receive an award. So
No
that
kidding.
was like wildly cool.
Gotcha. Now, was Congress upset because a lot of them like to glom onto things as well? And just kidding.
Good.